Today we're going to talk about how to clean very heavy kettlebells, something that will require a lot of patience, strength, power, commitment, and even a little faith. As you can see, we have a variety of kettlebells here. I'll talk about the weights and the specifics here in a second, but we might even get up into some really heavy weights like these over here, which are they're just rude. It is still extremely hot here in Tennessee, extremely sticky, extremely humid, and we're all suffering together, so just bear with us. Out, here, out. He's tripped over this bell before, and it was really bad. I even videoed it, but I chose not to share it with the world because it was very irresponsible of me. These dogs are not dogs that you keep in the crate for 10 hours a day while you go to your high tower corporate office job and then come home and try to look like a badass because you have a really cool dog. This dog is required to work, and he's required to have a job, otherwise he'll lose his freaking mind. And that's what I call animal abuse at this point. We're basically attached at the hip all the time. We just got back from a soccer tournament this past weekend, and he was there the whole time. So that means we have to find hotels that will accept him in all of his glory. But also we try to look for places that don't charge an arm and a leg for pet fees. So Red Roof Inn for the win. So single arm clean is pretty typical. Some of you might be proficient, some of you might not be. I'm gonna do some single arm stuff to warm up with, but eventually the single arm grip and doing a heavy clean is going to be pretty ridiculous. So sometimes we have to involve both hands. So we'll get to that in a second. But grabbing the bell deep into the palm is the wrong way to go. You want to get into these fingers. If your grip strength sucks, I got another video about that I'll post up here somewhere, and you can learn how to properly develop your grip without relying on this poor positioning for the rest of your life. Fingers right on the edge of the bell, not deep. Right here on the handle. Good backswing. And up to the front rack. Up to the front rack. Not the CrossFit cheater style reps like this. This is garbage. You can go do that somewhere else. Maybe another CrossFit gym that doesn't really know what they're doing, which there's plenty of those. Front rack position is where you want to catch. I like to do this little fist for a good counterbalance. Cast out. Right there. Open hand. Lose the death grip. Bell handle positioning in the hand is very important. So you might have to go down in weight just so you can feel good about grabbing the bell properly so you can save your hands from ripping. But just moving the handle a little far forward, closer to your fingertips, will allow you to develop good grip strength and be able to feel confident in letting go and letting that handle pass into the handle of your hand. This was the 70-pound, 32 kilo, which is pretty common for a lot of CrossFit and or functional fitness gyms to have, but I've recently acquired a bunch more very heavy bells. There'll be a video for that here in a second, but here we have an 88-pound or a 40 kilo, and this one is going to be a 97-pound or a 44 kilo for all you non-freedom loving people out there, anti-Americans. Never mind, I'm just kidding. Calm down. 48 kilo, 106 pound over here. If I'm being completely honest, I don't know if I've ever cleaned this weight before, but we'll see what happens. Also, something that's definitely required in this Tennessee humidity slash heat slash stickiness is chalk. You gotta have some dang chalk. The powder coat on this is pretty smooth. It's not super tactile, which means it's not gonna rip your hands very much, but you gotta have a nice tight grip because these bells are too heavy to be throwing all over the room. Feels pretty good. Park with respect. I'm not gonna lie, the left hand feels pretty weak. I had a cervical disc replacement surgery a few years ago, and it affected a lot of my left arm before the surgery. This arm basically disappeared and atrophied. And then I basically couldn't do any pull-ups, no push-ups, nothing. I was rendered an invalid, useless, if you will. After the surgery that went very well, mind you, I got a lot of that back, but there's still some lingering asymmetries in the left to right arm application. Go take a break. Let's try this big boy. Oh, nice. If you death grip this handle, it's not going to be able to rotate in your hand, and you're not going to be able to find the new position to land here. This is why most people who death grip the bell, when they go to clean, they catch up here because they can't let go of the bell and let it rotate around the hand to catch into the front rack. This is why some of these CrossFitters look like absolute idiots doing this, and the kettlebell community laughs at them. And sometimes, if they have a guy running the competition that knows what he's doing, these CrossFitters are gonna get a lot of no reps in the making. This is the 106-pound bell. I'm gonna do a clean on the right, do a clean on the left, and hopefully I don't break anything. Whoa. Recover. I'm not afraid to show you my ugliness. That wasn't as pretty as I had hoped, but there's a first time for everything, and I have no shame. That went slightly better than expected. So now we're gonna move up to the really big bells, and hopefully I don't look like too much of an idiot. I've had a 106-pound competition kettlebell for a long time, and a lot of times I would take that on vacation and I would do this two-handed clean, and I would do this, not a goblet squat, but just kind of a unilaterally loaded, almost like a back squat. I would just clean that up into some sort of side rack position, and I would do some heavy-ish squats. So that's pretty much my only experience doing heavy double-handed cleans, but we're gonna get really nasty here in a second. This is not balanced at all. So probably the main thing that inspired this video is that I've had about half a dozen people send me a video of Cody Anderson doing this kettlebell clean. Not really a clean, it's more of like a clean to a goblet hold, and then he does a goblet squat with a 203-pound kettlebell. I'm pretty sure I could goblet squat it, but the clean makes me nervous. He was also standing on like 4 or 5 horse stall mats. This flooring is very thin, easy to clean, easy to manage, easy to install, but nowhere near as protective to the concrete. I know the bells will probably be okay if I drop them, but the concrete will be a different story. I don't know if this is a specific technique for doing a two-hand clean, but I'm gonna use my 2 hands, do a little backswing, come up, and I'm gonna catch in this side rack. And then maybe I'll do a few squats just to kind of show you what I've done in the past. We're gonna go for a switch grip, as in right hand over, like pronated, and then left hand supinated, only because I'm right-handed. I guess if you were left-handed, you would switch and go to the other side, but this is what feels best to me. Cocked position, make sure we're angled back. We're gonna get a good back swing, pop the hips, and just guide it up to the shoulder. This is 150 pounds. The rebound on the catch with the bell coming down, that's a lot. Cody Anderson failed that part, but right after it, he did a standing backflip, so maybe he made up for it. So we have a few more weights for options as we move up past the 150. Here we have another 150, just so we can do like heavy suitcase carries, stuff like that. This is 176 pounds, or 80 kilos. And then the next one is 92 kilos, or 202 pounds. 202 is what Cody was using earlier. That felt okay. I just get really nervous being inside, so I might want to do some of these heavier ones outside or on some stall mats just to practice. But I think after that, there's not really much heavier ones that you can get. holding the traditional front rack position. I don't know if that's possible for me. If you are a kettlebell person and you think you can do it and you have the tools, so to speak, I would love to see it. So remember, it's all about confidence after that hip explosiveness, and then just standing up as quickly as possible and guiding the bell to where it needs to go. It's doing very good taking a break, just watching. Like I was saying, there's a considerable amount of confidence and faith that you have to have when you start doing these cleans, especially as they get heavier, because it's something where you can't just decide you're not going to do it 3/4 of the way through the rep. You have to just commit and hopefully it works out. I'm definitely gonna go get a couple more stall mats. That way I can feel better about potentially failing some of this stuff. But I am gonna play around with this 150 to get my 100 swings a day in. Every day, 100 kettlebell swings, every day, no matter what. Daily minimum requirement. I don't care what you're doing. If it's a rest day, do 100 swings anyway. I don't care what the weight is. I don't care what the reps are. I don't care what the sets are. Just get to work every day, forever, period. 150 pounds, 100 swings a day. I'm an idiot. My nipples are sweating. This is how you turn boys into slightly bigger boys. Only you can prevent weakness.